If you're in a healthy relationship with a man, can you stitch this video and talk about it?
This is a tale that must be told. Not only are there good men out there, there are amazing men out there. Welcome to my dissertation on amazing men. My partner is one of the most incredible human beings I've ever known, and I will tell you exactly why. Some of the reasons. There are lots of reasons. And I believe that every man can be an amazing man. I'm going to tell you 3 choices that he has made that makes him amazing. I'm also going to tell you why we met, which is super important, and then the fun story of how we met. 3 things that really work in our dynamic. Number 1, he has chosen to do the work. And here's what I mean. He has chosen to look at the culture he was raised in. He has chosen to dismantle the patriarchy that was programmed in his own brain. He has chosen to see the worth of women around him. He's a white male, so like epitome of privilege, and he has chosen to see that privilege that would have been invisible to him if he hadn't intentionally chosen to look at it. And chosen to reject a system that is uplifting him above women in worth. Next, he is totally secure in his masculinity. Like, I have never heard this person say that they are avoiding something because it's feminine. This is the internalized misogyny that so many of us, including women, are dealing with. Think of how many men are like, oh, I don't wear pink, or like, I can't put a costume on for a party, or I can't express emotions. It's so damaging to repress our emotions. So he just has this super healthy, secure masculinity where he knows his masculinity is intact. He has defined that for himself. And he's not like constantly looking at other men being like, am I masculine enough? Am I masculine enough? Next, because he has chosen to see the value in women, he's just really attracted to amazing, powerful women. He has attracted those women into his life for a long, long time. And yeah, I'm gonna own it. It's one reason why he's attracted to moi. For instance, he was Bell Hook's personal assistant and good friend. They traveled around together for years. They were very close. She's one of the most impactful feminists of our time, and he learned so much with her as a mentor and getting to support her. He's also partnered with Carrie Underwood, Sheryl Crow, and Nicole Kidman. Clearly Nashville vibes. But when you choose to see the reality of how amazing women are, and you are strong and secure in yourself and adding so much value to those around you, and literally open to the friendship and the mentorship and the partnership with everyone in the world instead of just half of the population, like, you attract amazing women into your world. All right, let's talk about the why behind why we met. We met because I gave up on men. I had just come out of a horrible, abusive marriage that was almost a decade of my life. And then when I started dating people again, like, the men that I was dating were all just very man children. Like, I might have made the mistake of dating people my same age because I'm like, well, that makes sense. But I was just a very different point in life, and they just felt very, very young. And so after a horrible marriage, after dating for a while, I was just like, no. My standard was so clear. This is the reason why we met. My standard was so incredibly clear that it was way better to be alone and happy and independent than it was to be with any man that didn't meet this just really obvious standard of who would be a match to be in my presence and share my life with me. And I made the decision with that standard that I would probably never find anyone and I would be alone, and I was totally at peace with that. And I was totally happy with that. And within a week, Steele walked into my life. His name is Steele. Which brings me to the magical story of how we met. So Steele was in town in Nashville, where I was living at the time, and one of his friends in the music industry had invited him to the Country Music Awards, so he's there with his friends in that industry, and it's great, and he's grateful to be there, but he is done and ready to go and maybe visit some friends. So a mutual friend of ours calls him up, and she's like, oh, I'm having a Day of the Dead party at my house, why don't you pop over? So remember, I am newly, totally peaceful and settled with being done with men. I am in my power and independence, and I'm just really, really enjoying my life. I'm not looking for anyone. And I have this standard that I think is impossible, but that's my standard. And just for context, this was my vibe. I'm literally wearing my old wedding dress from when I was Mormon, and it's a Day of the Dead party, so it's this is my face. This is how little I care about what anyone thinks, and I am just having so much fun in my life. I'm at the party, he walks into the party, that's what my face looks like, And we look at each other and it was just this feeling like, oh, there you are. It was so obvious. There were no games there. And I also, because he didn't live near where I did, I was in Nashville, he was in St. Louis. Not only did I have this standard, but I also thought I was never going to see this person again. So I was so authentic. I was so genuine, full sugar skull face paint on. And there was just this beautiful connection. And we have been together ever since that day. Like, it has just been easy. We don't fight. We totally respect each other. Now that we have, lived together for years, like, we have a division of labor that really makes sense with both of us contributing what our strengths are. Like, we just reject gender roles or needing to have any sort of performance and this is what it means to be a woman or means to be a man. Like, we are a team and we really love each other, and it's not a struggle because he is a person that matches my standard and I'm a person that matches his standard, and we choose each other every day. There's not like a given. We don't own each other. So here are a few things that really work in our dynamic. Let me know if you want me to talk about more of these, but these are the first ones that came to mind. Like, first, we have really aligned values. We're both feminists, and uplifting female leadership has been a big part of both of our lives before we came together as well. Like, he was a professor for many years, and worked with so many incredible feminists and has contributed so much to that community. I am literally the founder of the She Center. We empower people to dismantle patriarchy and bias and to make a better world by bringing women into leadership. This is like a big deal for both of us. Another thing is we are not trying to control each other. We trust each other. We're both on our own journey. There is no one that I'm trying to make him be, and there's no one that he is trying to make me be. I think it's only worth it to be with people that you could be totally hands-off, they do them 100%, make their own choices, and that feels good to you and your standards. If you're needing to try to control someone or be looking at their phone or like be figuring out what they're doing or treating them in some way where you just clearly don't trust them, then maybe not the person to be with. And last, we are whole people on our own. We do not complete each other. He is not my better half. He's not a half, I'm not a half. We are both whole people. If we didn't choose each other tomorrow and decided to not be together, that would be sad. And we would both move through that sadness, and then we would both thrive and totally rock life because we are whole people all on our own. We are fully developed characters, both the main character of both of our stories and our individual stories. And we come together because we want to be together, not because we need to be together, not because we're trying to force each other to be together, not because we're worried about being alone, but because we as whole developed people look at each other and we're like, oh yeah, there you are. You're someone that I would love to spend life with. And so we do.